All right, so I want to talk about some more fundamentals on Word. Going to be talking about inserting figures. This is often important because we put in a lot of plots, we put in a lot of images, sometimes logos, a lot of things that we plug into our reports, and then they must look nice. And the visibility and their viewability basically is enhanced when these are carefully placed in and plugged into our reports. So let's try to see how we can deal with these images or any plots of the sort. So I'm going to go ahead, and this option is available to us in Word when we go to insert, right? So the insert tab, and this you'll see a lot of these palettes. For me, these show up in illustrations, right? That's the sub palette. But for a lot of Windows computers, the insert and pictures or figures is right away. That would be visible. So you go ahead and you choose a picture from file. You've saved a picture somewhere, saved some figure somewhere. Maybe I have this image and I'm going to place it here, right? So it could be any image, could be any plot, could be anything of the sort. But right away you have that image there and then. But one of the things that we come across, a problem really, is moving this. Notice how there's a problem every time I try to move it or place it somewhere. So seems to be going back in its place or isn't really, the movability is not quite there. So after inserting figures, what we really do is, or what we really want to work with, is try to first of all move this figure and then fix its size. For example, I'll go with the size first because aspect ratio is super important. Notice if I try to change its width or height, the image seems to lose what's called its aspect ratio. That's width over height or height over width. So the image seems to be deformed, so to speak, and it doesn't look nice. It loses its original shape, right? So what we really want to do is maintain the original shape of the image and resize it by holding from these corners. So once you hold it from the corners, notice the width and the height ratio remains the same. So that's the aspect ratio, and that is what remains the same. Often we try to stretch our logos and we lose its aspect ratio and it doesn't look nice. So what we really want to do is make sure we are always, we want to zoom in, enlarge our logos and figures and plots, or maybe make them small, but then we want to hold it from the corners and do that. Okay, so that will maintain the aspect ratio. So that's one thing. So the next idea is, yes, we've dealt with image sizes, aspect ratios. uh, but the other idea is moving this figure now, right? So right away by default it's not very ready to move. So what we really want to do is right click this and choose the option within this wrap text option, something called as tight. So you want your words to be, or the image, to be tightly wrapped around each other. Notice what happens when you do this. You're now able to move your figure around and your text is tightly wrapped around it. Okay, so this is how it's easy now to move your logos or your figures or your plots. Of course, I can place this somewhere here and then hit the enter key from my next sentence, and then by design choose where I want to place this by using smartly using the enter key, and then I could place this up somewhere nicely. See, I'm using multiple enter keys, and that gives me some spacing to place or position my figure. So again, this is possible by right clicking, choosing wrap text and the tight option. Okay, there are other options there. I leave it for you to explore the best one in your use case. Often we use the through text, but more often than not we'll go with the tight wrap on the of the text on the figure. Last idea that I want to bring in here is, maybe because we have put in enough enters here and created enough space, you might want to plug in a caption right here. So figure one, some wall art, right? And as we have seen from the previous videos, might want to select this and center align this, right? So then you have a figure and you have a caption associated with it. Key thing to remember, usually have a caption of the figure below the figure. That's a convention we use quite often. I hope placing figures makes sense now, and we can also position them and adjust their sizes. But one last thing, we could also right click an image and choose the crop option. If on Windows you do not see this option, you might see them in picture format, right? So this option would be more visible in Windows on the picture format. There's a big option right here, crop. Notice when I click crop, these black markers seem to appear. Okay, so again, one more time, you choose the picture, go to picture format, and you see the crop option. Once you hit crop, these black adjustable uh, sidelines or sidebars, they show up, and from there you could drag and choose and shorten or crop basically your figure, and then click somewhere outside and your figure gets cropped. So that's a nice way to basically choose the most relevant or the more relevant part of your figure, or plot. Sometimes, usually we have some backgrounds that we want to crop out, so this is one way you could simply crop, and then obviously you could position and move it nicely with the wrap text option. I hope this makes sense. Happy to address any questions in the comments. Thank you.